Alrighty. Here we go. I had to change Wi-Fi networks. I was on the one for the downstairs. I didn't have a good connection. Hopefully this doesn't keep pausing. The Wi-Fi scenario is going pretty crazy around here. Alrighty. So if we're working on the right edge, each one of the boxes is still a 1/3 width because we have 6 boxes split up between 2 units. So, and then if we look at the right edge bases, this first box starts here, which is what, f of 4, and then we go back a spot, f of, well, minus 1/3, which would be 3 1/3, or 3 2/3. And then, so let's start writing those out. So our first box would be f of 2, and then we'd have f of, or not f of 2, f of 4, because we're starting on the right side, and then we go backwards 1/3, so that'd be 3 2/3, which is 11/3, right? Yeah, because 4 is 12/3, and then we'd have f of 10/3, and then f of, well, 9/3, that's 3, and then f of 8/3, and then our last box would be f of 7/3. Which, if we look, if we spent the time doing the left edge, I'm going to pull that back here, our left edge boxes are basically the same thing, like especially if we look backwards. We don't have f of 4, but we do have 1/3 f of 11/3, and then we have 1/3 f of 10/3, and then 1/3 f of 3, 1/3 f of 8/3. So we have all these answers from our left edge to get the right edge. So all I'm going to do is look back at this and copy these answers down. All right, so f of 11/3, that came out as 16/9 from our previous problem. All right, and then 10/3, okay, that was 17/9. And then 1/3 f of 3 just came out to be 2. All right, 1/3 f of 8/3, that was 19/9. And then 1/3 f of 7/3, that was 20/9. The one thing that we do have to do now here is just figure out the 1/3 f of 4. Okay, so remember our equation is 9 minus x, so this would be 1/3 of, if I plug 4 into that, that'd be 5. Why doesn't this seem right? Oh no, that would be right. And so that would end up being 5/3, which would be 15/9. Okay, so what we're going to do is to take those areas and add them up. Take out our calculator, so I got 5/3 plus 16/9 plus 17/9 plus 2 plus 19/9 plus 20/9. We get 11 point, and so if we have to round this here, 6667. If we round to the 4th decimal place. Okay. So the one thing about left edge and right edge, you technically don't need the graph. You just have to realize, okay, with the rectangles, how big is the base of each rectangle going to be? And then from the left edge, you're going to start with your starting point and move forward, so add the width every single time. So add 1/3, add 1/3, add 1/3, add 1/3, add 1/3. And then from the right edge, you're going to start at the end and move backwards. Now we're going to do the same thing that we do tomorrow. We're just going to say an upper and lower bound. And so if we look between our two answers, 12.333 would be the highest, 11.66 would be the lowest. So tomorrow we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to say the area would be in between these two answers. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to keep going through the homework problems. Hopefully the video doesn't pause. If you guys have questions, type them up here. not, you can always go back and rewatch. So I'm going to go through left edge and right edge. I'm not going to draw the graph because we technically don't need it. We just need to know what is the width of each rectangle, and then what's our starting function value. So the next questions, 3 and 4, we start out with, all right, the equation is f of x equals x squared plus 1. We're going to go from 1 to 3 with 8 rectangles. Okay, so that means our width, if we think about removing 2 spaces divided by 8, would be 1/4. Okay, so we got 8 rectangles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Each one of these rectangles is going to be 1/4 wide. So 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. Just making a big list here. And then what we're going to do is, since we're going left edge first, we're going to start with 1. So we'll do f of 1. Then we'll do we'll add a 4th to that. So you guys want to just do decimals, 1.25. And then we'll do 1.5. And we'll add a 4th to that, so 1.75. And then we'll do f of 2. And then we'll add 2.25. And then we'll do 2.5, and then we end with 2.75, which is 1/4 away from 3. Okay, so remember the left edge, or the first edge you do, is always the longest one. All right, so let's start plugging these in. We got 1/4 times. If I plug 1 in, 1 squared plus 1 is 2. And then I got 1/4. Okay, now I'm going to plug in 1.25. Alrighty, so actually, you know what we could do? You want to see a trick we can do on the calculator? Since we know everything is going to be 1/4 of this function, I'm just going to type the function in. Actually, yeah, I'll just type the function in. X squared plus 1. And then I'm going to go to my table, and my table is not set up as that, so I got to do second table set. Make sure my independent is on ask. And then start typing the numbers in. So if I typed in 1, it told me it was 2. I'll type in 1.25 next. All right, so 2.5625. And then we got 1/4 of 1.5, 3.25. And then, let's see, we got 1.75, 4.0625, and then let's see, we'll type 2 in, we get 5, and then we'll type in 2.25, 6.0625, 2.5, 7.25, and then 2.75, 8.5625. Okay, so what we need to do here now is to divide them all by 4. All right, so 2 divided by 4 is 1/2. All right, then, okay, 2.5625 divided by 4. I'm just going to do math, enter, enter. 41/64. All right, 3.25 divided by 4. Math, enter, enter. 13/16. Doing this the long way with fractions, so then our answer comes out nicer. 4.0625 divided by, it's not a divided by 4. Math, enter, enter. 65/64. All right, 5 divided by 4, 1.25. Oh, I'll put that as a fraction. That's 5 over 4, which... All right, let's see, 6.0625 divided by 4. Math, enter, enter. 97 over 4, or 64, all these love numbers. 7.25 divided by 4. Math, enter, enter. 29 over 16. And then lastly, 8.5625 divided by 4. Math, enter, enter. 137 over 64. Okay, so that was the long stuff. Now we got to add these all up. I'll do that here. So first one, we got 1/2. 1/2. 1 divided by 2 plus 41 divided by 64 plus 13 divided by 16 plus 65 divided by 64 plus 5 divided by 4 plus 97 divided by 64 plus 29 divided by 16 plus 137 divided by 64. We get 9.6875. All right, 9.6875 should be the left bound. Now the right bound, what we need to do is make our list. Now I'm going to keep that left bound list because that's going to help me out with the right bound list. So the right bound list, we still got 8 triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're all 1/4. But on the right bound, we're going to start with 3, not 1, and work our way backwards. So we'll have f of 3, and then we'll subtract a 4th from that, so that'd be f of 2.75, and then f of 2.5, and then subtract a 4th, so 2.25, and then 2, and then 1.75, and then 1.5, and then 1.25. Now the best thing about taking our time with the left edge is now the right edge is so much easier, because if we look, 2.75 is right there. 2.5, the next one. 2.25. Basically, all from box 2 to box 8 is from our previous list, which we have the answers here, the exact answers. So I'm going to write those answers out there, all just finished. So 137 over 64, 29 over 16, 97 over 64, 5 over 4, 65 over 64, 13 over 16, and 41 over 64. The only thing we need to do is this one up here, which is 1/4 of. If I plug in 3 into the original equation here, 3 squared plus 1, or if I go back to the calculator, that should tell me that is 10. And 10 divided by 4 is 5 over 2. Okay, so now we just got to add those up. A trick we can do here is if we got this other answer, what we can do is we can get rid of the 1/2, because that was the one thing on this chart that this one is missing. So I'm going to minus the f of 1 answer, which was 1/2, so minus 1/2, which gives us all of these added up together. And then I'm going to add my new one, 5 over 2. So we got 11.6875. And there's your right edge answer, 11.6875. Just going to double check that these are right. Okay. one more question to go. Yeah, 11.6875. Okay, next one. Last one, here we go. Should be a fun one. Thanks for joining me this whole time. Here's my eraser. Alright, we got sine. Sine x. We're going to go from 0 to pi. And we're going to use 6 rectangles. So that means our width is pi over 6. Because we go from 0 to pi is a distance of pi, and we're going to divide that by 6. Okay, so let's make our 6 rectangle list here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Each one has a pi over 6 width. Okay, and then let's start on the left edge. So we're going to start with 0. So f of 0, f of pi over 6, f of, let's see, that'd be pi over 3. And then the next one would be, that'd be 3 pi over 6, which would be pi over 2. Then f of, okay, so let's see, 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6, 4, 6, which is 2 pi over 3. And then f of 5 pi over 6. So we'll take out a unit circle. Get hanging up in my room right now. I know I have one hanging up in my room in my classroom, but not at my house. There we go. Well, f of 0, that's 0. Alright, I apologize for the video pausing. I'm just going to have to post this on YouTube once it's done. Alright. Sine. Just double checking these ones here. Pi over 2. Oh, that's 1. Wait. Oh, yeah. Oh, I messed these ones up. Alright, sine. Sine of pi over 3. Let's see, is that radical 3 divided by 2? Yeah. Radical 3 over 2. Alright, sine of 2 pi over 3. I think that's also radical 3 over 2. And then 5 pi over 3, is that 1/2? Ooh. Is that 5 pi? 1 pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi. Oh, 5 pi over 6. 1/2. Okay, so if we start adding these up, okay, so let's see. That one's still 0. This one would be pi over 12. This would be radical 3 pi over 12. This would be pi over 6. And this would be another radical 3 pi over 12. And this would be pi over 12. Alright, so if we start adding these up, we got 0 plus pi divided by 12 plus the square root of 3 times pi divided by 6 plus the square root of 3 times pi divided by 12 plus pi divided by 12. So we get an answer of, open video pause. We'll subtract the 0 and then add a 0, which literally the right edge is the exact same thing. 1.955 1. Okay, we got those. I will message everybody watching this. You'll just have to watch the 2 YouTube videos. I apologize for my technical issues, but here we go. Have a good one. Thank you. Plus the square root of 3 times pi divided by 12 plus pi divided by 12. So we get an answer of, open video pause. We'll subtract the 0 and then add a 0, which literally the right edge is the exact same thing, 1.9541. Okay, we got those. I will message everybody watching this. You'll just have to watch the 2 YouTube videos. I apologize for my technical issues, but here we go. Have a good one. Thank you.